So this started with a question that I had on my last video where I was talking about the extraction issues of the MPR and how I fixed it with the replacement extractor and spring kit. In that, I had it set up on the tripod while I was talking about it, and I had the sling hanging from it, and I got a question about how I am attaching a sling and how I'm mounting it to the tripod. So I thought I'd do just a quick video to kind of talk about what I'm doing. It's certainly not the only way, but it's what works for me for right now. So one of the nice things I like about the Christensen Arms MPR is the fact that on the buttstock it gives you several QD mounting points. There is on the right side, there's a QD mounting point here, and on the left side you have those two plus one on this corner right here. You also have two QD mounting points just above the hand grip at the base just forward of the folding mechanism. So on the buttstock you have a lot of options about how you want to mount a QD mount. In fact, you could have your sling mounted on a couple of these higher points, and then you could use a QD point to maybe attach a rear bag or something like that from a short piece of paracord so that you don't ever lose it, it just hangs there. Plenty of options on the back. I really like how many QD spots that they give you on the Christensen Arms MPR chassis, but unfortunately that is only in the back part of the stock. As you get to the front part of the stock, there is no QD mounting points from the factory. Now there is a Picatinny rail that has a little nub on the end of it that you can attach one. It'll accept just basically any standard rifle, more traditional style sling mount. That's only if you want to use it on the bottom in kind of a traditional mounting configuration for more of a standard sling. If you want the rifle slung across your chest, you're going to have to add something along the handguard. Fortunately, the Christensen Arms MPR is an MLOK style handguard, so the slots on the bottom and both sides are MLOK compatible. So what I did is I went ahead and picked up a Magpul MLOK QD sling mount. They're about $20 MSRP, and I just attached it to one of the MLOK slots. What you can do is figure out either left or right and how far forward or back you want based on your balance. I tend to carry the sling from the left rear of the rifle up and over to the right front of the rifle. You can figure out how that balances for you. This works very well for me to balance for a long day hiking around with it when I'm hunting or doing a field style match that involves a lot of walking. Now for the sling, this is just a pretty standard basic Magpul MS1 sling. It's nothing fancy. It is just a basic non-padded version of their sling. It does give you some adjustment close to the QD mount points where you can adjust how long you want it to be overall. And then I like it has a slider that with the rifle mounted pretty much lets you do one-handed adjustments and make it either shorter or longer. This is great once you get it adjusted to about the general length you want it. This allows you to lengthen it a little bit to get the rifle on and off, tighten it up when you want to get it to sit closer to your body if you don't want it moving around. Magpul MS1 sling, these are only about 35 bucks MSRP. I added the QD mount points so that it will mount to any of these QD points based on whatever you need. If you are interested in these, there are a couple other options, including a padded and one with the QD mounts attached. Mounting the rifle, I am using just a basic Manfrotto aluminum tripod. This is not the best tripod, but at this point I haven't put out the money to buy a really right stuff or a really nice carbon fiber tripod. I noted previously between this tripod, the basic Manfrotto ball head, and a adapter that would mount to the Manfrotto ball head and a Picatinny rail, there was a lot of play in the system. I was looking for a way for a more reliable, more robust mounting system, something that was a little more versatile, and I started looking at the Arca Swiss style rails or dovetail rail, depending on what the manufacturer you're looking at calls them. Some of the stock makers like MPA are actually starting to mill that into the bottom of their chassis, which I really like. I wanted to keep the lightweight form factor of the MPR, and a milled dovetail rail was not an option for that. So I had to look for something that would mount to the MLOK option, and I looked at a couple different brands. I looked at a bunch of different options, and one of the things I was noticing is a lot of the 4-inch rails were about 40 bucks to start with, and with the 4-inch one I could attach one to the front and I could attach one here to the back, and I could get my tripod and my bipod attached, but that ended up being $80+ and I'd have all the real estate in the center that wasn't usable. I was looking for some of the longer ones and I found this one, which is an XLR 12.6 inch MLOK Dovetail adapter is what they call it. It runs about $65, so it's cheaper overall than two of the smaller ones. And what this does is, even though it's just a little short of giving me the full length, it allows me to mount the tripod pretty close to the back. It's not quite the center of balance, although it's relatively close with the lightweight buttstock and the suppressor out front. It allows me to put the bipod out forward more, and it does allow me to adjust where I want it mounted. Where is that useful? That could be useful in a case where maybe I want to shoot with a second tripod in the back like a lot of guys do. I could put the first tripod out further and then the tripod in the back for a little more balance. It also lets me move the bipod back if I'd like to. So I've had match stages where you shoot off of a barrel, and it's actually convenient to have the bipod way back here, because with the bipod back here and a bag underneath your handle, you have multiple points of contact in a very narrow space. That's an advantage of having the full length rail. At some point, in order to get it to go the rest of the way, I may play with either pushing this rail back and adding a smaller rail up front, or vice versa, to see if I can actually get a little more real estate. The problem is the M-LOK ends right about here, so I'm not able to get the M-LOK mounts all the way to the back. This XLR mount does attach extremely securely. There are 8 points where it connects to the M-LOK handguard, so very secure. With the MPR, you do have a small M-LOK slot. You've got one up here at the very front, which I'm not using, and then you have one back here, which kind of limited my placement on how I was going to attach this, but didn't keep me from getting it more or less where I wanted. You also have a QD mount at the front and the back of this, so if you want to attach a sling or some other accessory, you do have some options for QD mounts on the bottom here. I had noticed that a lot of the play in my previous setup was because of the Manfrotto ball head that I was using, so I've been trying this one out. This is a Colorado Tripod Company Highline ball head. It's the medium size, which runs about $130. They rate to 75 pounds of weight that it can support. Obviously, my rifle is not 75 pounds, but when you talk about forces of recoil and things like that, it is definitely important to have a ball head that will handle a fair amount of weight, because you are putting a lot more force and weight on it than your average camera tripod is designed to hold. So that gives you kind of an overview of how I have the Christensen Arms MPR set up for mounting on a tripod. The Atlas bipod that I typically have on here is also a ARCA adapter. That one's from Area 419, and I'm using the QD mounts in the rear and a Magpul up front. If you have any other questions, let me know. I try to get to as many of the questions in the comment section as I can, and every once in a while like this, I'll even make a video to help answer those questions and go into them a little more. Once again, guys, thank you for watching. Any questions, please put them in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. All of the equipment that you see here, and that is all stuff that I have bought myself. I have not received any of this for free or compensated. I will shop sales and things like that in order to find the best deal that I can, including I am on Expert Voice, which is a pro deal site that I can talk about more at some point. That's how I got the scope for a pretty good price and the mounts. But everything else on here I paid for. Any of the links you see in the bottom of this description are all affiliate links. If you click on them, I make a small commission, but you don't actually pay any extra. It just helps to fund some of the products that this channel ends up reviewing, because I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any other companies that are donating equipment for me to test out for you guys.